With the Six Nations fast approaching, these are my hopes for the New England team. Welcome back to BD Rugby. Today I want to look at some of the features that I would like to see from this England team going forward. Please look out for my other videos around the selection that I think Borthwick will make and how I think a Borthwick, Sinfield and Evans partnership will play. But this is about the features I would like to see from this England team going forward. I think the first thing is that England over the last couple of years have really struggled with converting points when they get into the opposition 22. I think this was true particularly of the last Six Nations and in the autumn, but then it was probably overly emphasised in that last game against South Africa where we had a number of kicks to the corner, line-outs on the 22 and we just sort of muck them up. I think historically and today, teams that are successful are the teams that are able to convert points and be efficient and clinical in those scenarios. So think France now, and maybe historically the New Zealand teams of the a few years ago, for instance. And I think England really need to improve that. Now, the problem, I don't know what the problem is. It may well be to do with over complexity with the last regime. It might be a lack of clarity around what they're doing in those positions. But definitely, I think if England are going to be successful, they need to improve stats in that area. I think the other factor, which is potentially linked to this, is around ruck speed. And there's been a lot of narrative around this about trying to improve ruck speed. Some of this is partly from the conversation that Eddie Jones was speaking to the media. I think what's really interesting is some really good analysis done by the analysis.com around this, and particularly focusing on the game last Six Nations, England versus France. Now, overall, England actually had a quicker ruck speed in that game. But if you break it down into categories, France had over a third of their rucks under 2 seconds. So really, they can achieve, such quick ball when they require, and that may also have then contributed to them, being able to convert points in that 22. So really, when they need to, they can switch it on, and that's, under 2 seconds, a defensive team's going to really struggle to regroup and reorganise. And I think if England are going to move anywhere, they need to be able to get to those or be able to move into those sort of areas. Perhaps with the introduction of Nick Evans, who's all about this lightning quick ball philosophy and more of a freedom to attack and maybe an increase in offloading game, perhaps we can actually achieve that. But I definitely think that England need to be striving for that, or be able to switch that on when they need to. And then perhaps linked to these things as well, something I've been going on in a number of videos is about the fact that England really do not use their advantage very well. So probably over the last couple of years, they will get an advantage and there doesn't seem to be any understanding of what they're going to do with it. And they end up sort of wasting that free hit, that freebie. I know going back a few years, teams used to kind of traditionally would like kick to the corner and all that, but at least it had some clarity and the team knew what to do. They would get it to a certain player, winger goes out wider and the ball would go up in the air. I'm not saying that has to happen, although that would be probably a lot more effective than what's happening now. But even just giving the people the ability, the freedom heads up to try something and, try something slightly outside the norm, rather than just playing to the structures when you kind of effectively have a free hit. I think would really potentially open up the game and may well it's almost an unrisk manoeuvre which we could actually try and achieve some points from. So they're just my key points, I think, for the Six Nations. Really excited to see how this England team play, and hopefully if they can address some of those points as well as some of the other things that have been talked about in the media, then I think hopefully we'll be looking at a win on the opening day. So thank you again for watching these videos. I'll be doing some post-match analysis of each game through the Six Nations. So keep watching, please subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.